Welcome to the Truman Charities podcast. I am Jamie Truman, your host. I am the co-founder of Truman Charities. We are a 100% volunteer-based organization. We've been around for 16 years now, and we've raised a little over $2 million for various charities. Over the past weekend, we had our annual Halloween bash, which was benefiting For the Kids. For the Kids is an organization that also is 100% volunteer-based, and each year they choose a local family that is in need in the area. This year, they chose a family from Bel Air, Maryland, and their son, Dominic, is in treatment for brain cancer. So we were raising money for Dominic and his family, and I'm very happy to tell everyone that we raised $45,000. And that means that $45,000 will go directly to Dominic and his family. But we couldn't have done this without our sponsors. They are absolutely amazing. And so I want everyone to learn about who they are, because when you're thinking about doing business, I want you to be doing business with people that are giving back to the community. So let's go through our amazing sponsors really quick. We had Z Federal, Sassy Agency, Small Business Advisors, Electric Advisors, First Home Mortgage, So What Else, Jeremy Lichtenstein, Lighthouse Insurance Service, Allison Collection, First Washington Mortgage, Tommy Joe's, Scotty's Vodka, Ross Residential, Zach Griever, Giving Purpose Project, Aspen Real Estate Settlements, Organic Butcher, Eastern Title, the Burke family, Steve Lorbenbaum, Nancy Palermo, Ursiola family, Focus Delivery, and Catherine Clark. Thank you guys so much. We could not be as successful as we are as an organization without these sponsors. And we had some really, really great prizes. So what we do for our sponsors as a thank you is we put them into a sponsor raffle. And Mark Bucher, who actually is the founder of Feed the Fridge, that we did our Halloween event for, I think 2 or 3 years back. And he is the owner of Medium Rare, a fantastic restaurant. He has several restaurants in the area. And he donated a 6-person dinner at Medium Rare. And so Eastern Title won that won the sponsor raffle. And so they will be enjoying a 6-person dinner at Medium Rare. And then also we have really great prizes for best individual costume and best group or couple/group. And so the individual costume, oh my gosh, I'm going to get this so bad, but I should know this, but I don't. My husband's a golfer. What is the guy that was the golfer that got arrested that everybody knows about? Anyway, so he had this orange jumpsuit on, and the name, oh my gosh, the name on the back of the golfer. Anyways, it was really funny. And there's a lot of golfers there. So they found that very amusing. And then the best couple, was my absolute favorite. So it was Three's Company. And so oh my gosh. My friend Larry, Wendy, and Rachel, they had fantastic wigs. And Wendy came in on roller skates, which I was very concerned about her safety, but she made it through without hurting herself. And then they won a 1 week a beach vacation in Fenwick, Delaware. Oh, and then the individual winner won a Mac Pro computer. So we have really great prizes, and we had raffle items. And oh gosh, I have to thank the Freeman family, Mark and Kelly. One of the live auction items was a 10-person dinner at your house, and they come in and they make this fantastic Italian dinner. And Mark was so sweet. He had offered one dinner, and right when we were doing the live auction, he decided, you know what, me and Kelly will do 2 dinners. So they raised $5,000 from those 2 dinners. It was just a really wonderful event. I love seeing everybody come together for this family. Dominic's parents were there, and they thought it was great to kind of see just the community coming together for someone that they don't even know. And I think about it when, that saying, it takes a village. And I was like, this is the best example of that, is that this is a time where there's a family in need and the community is coming together to help them as best they can. So I want to thank everybody so much for coming to our Halloween party. We will be having Bethesda's Best Happy Hour, which is kind of a get together for everybody. A thank you. That'll be November 14th at Tommy Joe's from 5:30 to 8. If you'd like to register, you can just email me at info@trumancharities.com. And so let's think. Oh, so before I get into the Q&A very quickly, I want to tell you guys that you can look onto our website and then it'll have all of our Bethesda's Best Happy Hours, which is just like a fun networking event. There isn't a charitable component to that one. And then the remainder of our actual events, we will have our Derby party, which I believe is May 6th. It is the first Saturday of May, whatever that lands on. And that is going to be for Interfaith Works. I interviewed Courtney Hall, which is the executive director for that. And basically what they do is kind of A to Z for people. They help with housing. They have educational programs. They help individuals learn a trade and then get them into the workforce. So it really is a great organization. That will be for our Derby party. Then we'll be having our family fun event, which I believe will be maybe the first weekend in September. In a roundabout of September of next year. And that will be for Just Trying It. That is, an organization that provides financial assistance for families that have a child in treatment for pediatric cancer. That is where my son and all of his buddies, they have a team and they run a kids triathlon each year, and we raise money for that. It's a really great organization. And we just decided today who our next Halloween event will be benefiting, and it is for Salute Military Golf Association. I did an interview with them, and you're going to hear it on Veterans Day. And honestly, as soon as I finished that interview, and I typically never do this, but I finished the interview with them, and I called my husband and I told him that I was so moved by our conversation. I talked to a veteran named James, and then so CJ, who helps run the organization. And I was so moved by these stories of veterans and how golf is really helping them in so many different ways, physically, mentally. And I thought this is such a great organization to do our next Halloween party for. So I'm really excited to do SMGA. Make sure that you check out that interview that drops on Veterans Day. As everybody knows, I do have such a soft spot for kids and for veterans. All right, so let's get into the Q&A. So I had a Q&A come in from Tracy, and she said, I am thinking about hosting a fundraiser, and should I theme my party? I'm going back and forth if that's a good idea or not. Okay. So I have a couple thoughts on that. As you know, we have a Halloween party and we have a Derby party. So 2 of ours are themed out of the 3. However, we just started doing that about 2 years ago. And the Halloween one we've done for maybe 5 or 6 years. But other than that, all of our parties, there wasn't a Derby party. There was just another party that had no theme to it. So if you're just going to be hosting a party where you're not going to be raising. So for instance, my girlfriend went to a fundraiser the other night for one of the local hospitals. Now this is huge, right? So they raised $600 and some thousand. So there was a black tie event. But in this particular instance, that's not what you're going to be doing. You're not that type of organization. You're not this huge, big hospital. So we never wanted to do this kind of black tie or someplace where women have to go out and they have to get a dress, they have to get their hair and makeup done, and guys have to wear a suit. Because when you're looking at that, so if you're going to be doing something where you're saying, okay, well, it's a black tie event, well, you're looking at women having to say, go get a dress, which is, at least a couple $100 there, and say get their hair and makeup done, right? So a lot of them will be, that's a couple $100. So they're putting a lot of money into it and it's a lot of time and effort. And so in my in my experience, then, they've already put X amount of money into getting themselves together for this event. So maybe if you didn't have them do that and you just had, hey, it's cocktail attire or business attire or whatever, then they would be more inclined to donate more while they're there. So that's one thing that you want to think about. So that's why Jerry and I didn't want you to have to put too much thought, too much time, and too much money into it. So we have the Halloween and Derby. So if you want to really theme it, outside of a black tie, and you want to do something like a theme like we're doing. So we thought long and hard about this because Halloween is fun. It's a fun event and it's fun for people to get dressed up, but you can put as much into it or as little into it as you want. So for instance, if anybody knows me, I'm always overdressed at all times. And I will think for a while about my costume and put so much time and effort into it. But that's just my personality. But you can have people on my end of the scale that's always overdressed, always thinking a lot into what they're wearing. And then you can have other people that are not into it, and then they just throw on a jersey or, a Nats t-shirt, and it's easy peasy. So if people aren't really into it, then they don't really have to spend that much time and effort into it. So we have people at our Halloween event that go all out. It's so awesome. And then we have other people that are just like, hey, I thought about this 2 hours ago, and, I just put on a wig, or one of my friends just put on a flannel and a wig. And then I had one of my other girlfriends that just put on a jersey, and she was like, you know what, this is it. And it makes it so easy. And then also for the Derby party, it's kind of the same thing. So you can kind of go all out. I love a good hat, nice sundress. However, you can just wear a regular dress. So there doesn't have to be a lot of thought into it. For the women. And then the men, it's just sort of every guy has a button up and, khakis. So very easy there. And we do have people that don't even dress up at all. So I would say that I've been to events where it was I'm trying to think of what type of theme it was. Oh, I went to one that was was a pageant themed, or it was something similar to that, but it was way too much. So I would say that if you want to do a theme for your party, then think of it where someone can do something very easily. For instance, you can kind of do a holiday theme. That's a really good one. We did that for our comfort cases. That would be good. We just had everybody we're like, oh, it's around Christmas. So we had it right before, on Christmas break or holiday break. And we said, hey, it's a holiday party, so wear whatever you want. People wore holiday sweaters. And then some people wore cute dresses, red and green and all that great stuff. And some blues for Hanukkah and all that great stuff. So thank you, Tracy, for sending that in. And everybody send in, as I said, I'm trying to do these as much as I possibly can, maybe once a month. So send in your questions and I'm happy to answer them. And you can send them to my email at info@trumancharities.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. You guys really make my day when you send me DMs. And most importantly, when you rate and review the podcast. I do read each and every one of them. And it really does make a difference. The more rate and reviews that I get, the more people are going to learn about the Truman Charities podcast. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook at Truman Charities, Instagram at Jamie_Truman Charities. You can follow me on LinkedIn at Jamie Truman. And so you don't miss any of our upcoming events, go on to trumancharities.com and sign up for our newsletter. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Truman Charities podcast. Until next time.
If you liked this episode, please make sure to rate and review our podcast. That is how more people learn about the Truman Charities podcast and our organization. And to make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes, subscribe. If you'd like to follow Truman Charities, you can follow us on Facebook at Truman Charities, Instagram at Jamie_Truman Charities, and check out our website, trumancharities.com.